Good morning, folks, and welcome back to the channel. So we're looking at the tax rework implementation being put forward, specifically from I'd like to say a group of people behind the scenes. You can kind of see this. It's really obvious at this point that everybody's sort of being more unified, working together to move this thing forward. I was a co-signer on this. I had more or less, I would like to say, a lot of incentive to get a better system put forward because of the dApps, our modules, our airdrop systems, all of the different things. We suffer quite heavily from this tax system, and it's built in a manner where it was just more or less slapped on top of the car, and we filled it up with fuel and said, yeah, she's ready to go. She's got some straps on. Good luck. Now, as it stands, the tax itself isn't acceptable in its current form in the wider cosmos, I think is a good way for me to simplify it for people. Our car simply doesn't fit the requirements for the boat to cross over into the broader cosmos. Now, with that all being said, right, this isn't a rework in the sense that we are reducing the burn tax, we're changing the burn tax, we're changing any of the taxes, we're going to be upsetting Binance and all of these different things. No, you can throw all of that out the window. This doesn't affect Binance whatsoever. It doesn't change the tax. It doesn't change anything other than slimming the vehicle down, changing the size of the vehicle and changing the color on the vehicle so it can fit on the boat to go out to the broader cosmos. So let's just dive into this Commonwealth discussion. It is up for a proposal, and yes, it is going to be a strong yes vote from me moving forward. We need to be more accepted in the broader Cosmos ecosystem, and this is the way forward. So the issue at hand, Terra Classic's burn tax has its roots in the pre-crash stability tax, which exclusively served the USTC. By using this pre-existing feature for all native denoms, certain complications arose. So in contracts, while gas is automatically deducted from sent funds, the tax is not, necessitating developers to manually calculate and adjust for it. This adds extra work, particularly when adapting Classic code for other Cosmos chains and vice versa. Clients or dApps have to calculate the tax themselves, as the simulation endpoint only provides gas estimates. Migrating audited dApps becomes cumbersome due to the Classic specific adjustments leading to a potential re-audits. A straightforward removal of a tax in favor of an increased gas fees, as discussed at some point, isn't ideal, as this would disproportionately impact dApp providers and significantly reduce tax revenues from high-value transactions. So if we go back and we look at a couple of these points here we've got highlighted, you've seen this happen with Crypto.com when they failed the transaction 3 times, and this is because our system doesn't show you the correct things a lot of the time. Instead, you're left to kind of set a lower barrier and hope that it goes through. Every time those transaction fails, there are substantial fees that are not returned each time. So it's not really a good situation for our chain to be in further in the future. If you can imagine hundreds of thousands of millions of people, right, making transactions, and 20% of them have been failed, and there's all these fees, and someone figures out, hey, this has happened to me, it could probably happen to a ton of people, we're owed fees back. We've been through this route before, if you remember rightly. So the suggested solution with this, and like I said, this is a rework. It's not a change. It's not us changing everything. It's a rework. So implement new governance parameters for gas pricing initially set to the current rates. Move the burn tax, which is actually called the stability tax parameter, to a separate tax module. In the post handler, determine the coin sent, calculate the tax and equate it to a specific gas amount. Calculate the consumed gas to tax gas ratio. Based on this ratio, ascertain the fee portion. It's so early here in the morning. Attributable to tax. Refund any excessive fees related to the tax, retaining the gas component. Use the ratio to appropriately distribute funds to burn, rewards, etc., maintaining the current distribution paradigm. Set then unused stability tax, not burn tax, to 0 to allow a seamless operation of contracts and dApps without code changes. And this is really important, is doing all of this without changing the entire code base, having a chain halt and going through all of that kind of thing. So the benefits to this approach is that it simplifies contract development by combining tax and gas deductions. For client side, DApp's tax computations can be excluded, relying solely on simulation endpoints gas estimates. Pretty much we'd be providing a system now which would calculate everything correctly for you. In fact, the system is going to work in such a definitive manner as to which it's kind of the Goldilocks situation, because you can't get rid of the burn tax and you can't increase the tax. You can't do all of these different things, right? So we've got to find some sort of middle ground where everybody's happy. And I think this is one of those sort of Goldilocks situations, which in itself, right, serves everybody. No one person is getting something over everybody else. And alongside this in the future, right, you can, if you really want to push the limits of this kind of system, you can just implement a whitelist like we've done for Binance, which if you look at any other chain, for example, like Trust Wallet, as we just get into the end of the video here, if you want to get on Trust Wallet, you've got to do a load of work. You've got to create a PR and you've got to get it put up, and then you've got to pay, I think it's like a $1,400 fee to get them to take your PR request and look at it and possibly merge it if it's right. If we do introduce a whitelist for projects, DApps, and modules alike, right, then we should think to ourselves, we're a chain and it's going to cost us money to have someone merge those PR requests, right, to get people listed on the whitelist itself. Now, with that being said, you should do what Trust Wallet did, where we have a nominal fee to get listed. Let's say it's $1,000 in LUNC, right? 20% of that goes to the person who picks up the PR and merges it, and then 80% of that actually goes to the Oracle pool. There's so many different ways you can start to really look at the system that we have, right, and think to ourselves, what can we do to make it better? And this is, for me, is all about building up. Like we've said previously, right, the system's a funnel and you can't start at the top of all of the really huge things when you haven't figured out how to correct all the really small things at the bottom. And like I've been saying in this video, right, if you can't see what's going on with all of the proposals that are going up and what we're discussing, and then you can't realistically take that and go to yourself, oh, hang on a minute, they're just playing out the United Vision here, right? And we're doing everything on here. We've got the dynamic commission sorted. We've got endpoints sorted. We've got this new tax approach system possibly looking at that everybody's voting on now, which is a strong yes from me, because there's going to be another proposal after this to get it implemented. The reason for vote, you could go and do that on all nodes. Once V3 turns up at some point towards the end of the year, you're going to have a very, very, very strong station system to use going forward. We're going to be implementing the dynamic commission, and on-ramps is something that definitely is going to be coming, I think, with V3 for the LUNC community. We just need to be patient with that. But this United Vision is almost done. It's almost played out, and everything is more or less up now, what should be up. And we just need to vote on it. We need to get these signaling proposals through, and we need to get everybody on the same path and get it all passed through governance. That's so important. So like I said, right, this is going to be a strong yes from me. I'm going to be throwing my yes vote down now, just as this video goes out. But other than that, folks, stay safe, stay humble, and stay aware. And sorry for not being around for a few days. I'm really under the weather here, trying to keep up with my in real life work just enough so I can come back and be here and be able to provide you some kind of guidance through this journey we're all on. Folks, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. I'll catch you in the next one.